Welcome to the CU Scoop. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes the Scoop. Check me out on Twitter /X or Instagram at Dukes the Scoop. And make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Also, if you want to support the channel, become a member. I'm slowly crafting ways to make sure that members get their money's worth. But right now, it's just support. So I appreciate it. And that's why you guys are getting more content because you guys have been supporting. So become a member and we'll get more content out there. Oh, and today's episode brought to you by none other than me, the Scoop with Dukes. Oh, and people been waiting on this one. That's right, the fam hoodie. Yeah, get that in there. So waiting on the merch run to come out. So be on the lookout. But yeah, man, we did get some of the stuff pressed up. I'm gonna be wearing this hoodie more often because you got to promote yourself. All right, so D, this is what we're gonna talk about today. I'm on the so last week at practice, I was there when a guy made his return, number 4. And like Shaquille O'Neal said, I'm sorry, I was unfamiliar with your game. Omarion Miller is the real deal. Omarion. Icebox where my heart used to be. Omarion Miller, the real deal. So I remember him from the 23 class. He was committed to LSU early on. He's out of Louisiana, committed to LSU. Then he was committed to Nebraska, and then he flipped to Colorado late. I remember him, and I remember a little bit of fanfare that came with him. But I just, I think I lost track of him, to be honest. But I definitely remember this kid from that class. And when I say, man, when I went back, so I did a bit of a deep dive just to go back and look into it. Colorado, you got your number 1 receiver. I liken it to what the 49ers had. And I'm going to get to Draylon too, but the two Millers, they kind of remind me of when the 49ers had that season where Brendan Ayuk and Deebo Samuel went crazy. Draylon Miller being your Deebo Samuel and Omarion being your Brandon Ayuk, so to speak. But having those two caliber type receivers, and I know there's a lot to be desired, and people say, they want to see how this receiving core is going to come together. But I think four has to be your one. When I went back and I looked at, I watched every catch that he's made on the collegiate level. Ain't been a ton of them, so it was easy for me to see him. But there was so much there's so much to like about Omarion Miller. Like, we could go back to his recruiting profile, but I wanted to do a deep dive into why I feel comfortable saying this is a quality one, and he has an NFL future. When he came out, his first evaluation, this is Gabe Brooks for 24/7. It's pretty good at these type things. Said he has a 4 day 3 projection, round 4 to round 7. This is what he said about him. Shout out to Gabe Brooks. Tall, framey wide out with good size and plenty of available space to add mass and strengthen. Smooth, fluid athlete with a gliding open field gait. So what he's saying is that he has that long, he pretty much he's a long strider, but sneaky initial burst. The reason that's important is because a lot of times when they talk about people who are long striders, that means it takes them time to get up to top speed. But it says he has sneaky initial burst. So that means if he runs the 40, his first 10 are going to be faster than what you would expect for somebody who's a long strider. Plays with adequate top end speed. Right. I'm going to get back to that in a minute. But they say, okay, we know he's fast. We don't know how fast he is, but we know he's fast. That's what they call it. All right, cool. Good in the air and competitive in contested catch situations. Natural high pointer with clear red zone mismatch potential. Man, it's a lot to like here, right? Displays above average, better than expected lateral mobility relative to size and build. This is something I want to make sure that we dive into, because when you see somebody in that 6'2" range, usually you're not thinking about being shifty. But this guy has moves. You can tunnel screen him. You can bubble screen him like. And you see Colorado do it, and there's one play that he made last year. I was just like, oh, gee, like, sheesh. Tracks well downfield and adjusts naturally on the fly, provided solid volume, great big play production as a sophomore. Speed is unverified with no track or testing data, shows above average acceleration, but he can improve his top gear to separate more often in open field opportunities. Will need to expand hone or / hone his full route tree against better competition. High major receiver prospect who does a lot of things well. High floor player who can also provide high developmental potential with increased top end speed. Nobody knows how fast he was. You don't have any track times. It don't take me a whole lot to know this guy can run. I saw it last week in practice. I saw him. There were people that were, I was hearing the people saying, oh. And to see him catch the ball and to see him, win some ones and see him in individual drills, I was like, nah, this dude is the real deal. I didn't know who he was because I remember, and I'm just keeping it a buck. I remember 14 from his freshman year, and I kind of lost track of him. When I realized that's who it was, I said, oh, yeah, we're going to dive in and watch all of this. Dog, when you talk about a straight ball player who has all the tools that are needed to be a one, this is your guy. He has the height, so he's 6'2". He has a 6'5", he has a wingspan of somebody 6'5" or 6'6". He's explosive in his core, which means that he can go up and get the ball, and he fights. The reason I wanted to, and what really tipped me off, in my last video, I talked about one of the incompletion that Juju threw, where he underthrew Omarion, right? And Omarion still found a way to fight his way back to the ball and had a chance to get the ball. He just didn't squeeze it. That fight for the ball showed me number one receiver. I said, oh, hold on. This is a little bit different. It's not like he was going up against a Rudy Poo. He's going up against great competition. He sees the ball, tracks the ball. Everything we just heard, Gabe Brooks, you nailed it. Because everything we just heard is what he's been putting on film. That scouting report was done in 2021. Some people were higher on Omarion coming out than others. 24/7 was always high on him. So when I saw him track the ball, realized that the ball was a little bit late and it was a little bit behind, he worked his way back into it, and all he had to do was squeeze the ball. His fight for the ball, that dog mentality, is what's going to allow him to be that number one receiver. I went back and I watched every catch from that 196-yard half against USC his freshman year. He didn't have a catch in that season before then. He didn't have a single catch. And goes off for almost 200 yards and a half. And the way he did it, he showed you every trick he had in the book. Dig, sitting in zones, beating man, tunnel screen, get the ball in space, accelerate. 50-50 ball. He showed you, he basically showed his whole cachet. This is what I took from that. So I went back and I dug into it. Coach Prime said they weren't expecting that from you. Now the expectation is there. You have to be careful to live up to that expectation. Coach Prime doing a great job coaching. What he also said was he ain't practice worth a darn that week. So this is what it tells me. For Coach Prime to say before that, Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week performance, Freshman of the Week performance across multiple publications, that explosion that helped Colorado, it's 2023 that helped Colorado get back in that game, that explosion that Omarion Miller had came after a bad week of practice. Okay, cool. Me watching him practice, me watching some of his videos as far as him getting back, that hunger to get back, that guy has a chip on his shoulder, and he really his appetite has already been whet. He wants to know, I can look and tell that this guy wants to be the guy. The quarterbacks know as soon as he stepped foot on the field that they hadn't had anything like this. No disrespect to the other receivers, but Omarion Miller is different. I talked to, listen, okay, cool. Julian said he thinks Julian Lewis said that's probably one of the best receivers he's ever thrown to, period. Didn't take long. Watch the rest of these practices. See if he ain't going to 4. Okay. Watch what happens. This guy, when I watched that performance, I saw something like, if he takes the next step in his practice development, which I've seen that it looks like that he has, this guy has the potential to be one of them ones. He's already shown it in flashes. Go back, was it Kansas State last year, the game that he got hurt when he was going off? Boom. Catches the pass, guy tries to tackle him, shows great play strength. They thought his elbow was down. They thought his knee was down. He bounces up and takes off, shows that top end speed that they were looking for. I'm calling it right now. This may be your breakout performer. And you know, of course, I've been on the Omarion Miller train because I love positional versatility. I've been on that train, but Omarion Miller is that guy on the outside. You can play him on the inside. You can play him in the slot. Route running, becoming a technician. These are only the things that are going to get him better. But I'm telling you right now, when I look at the Big 12, talent-wise, there aren't just a ton of receivers that you can go to and say, this guy is better than Omarion Miller. I don't know if there's I don't think there's a more talented receiver in the Big 12 than Omarion Miller. Pure receiver, him and Draylon, of course, yeah, they have two different skill sets, but pure receiver, I don't think there's a better guy in the Big 12 than him. When you look at his catch radius, the way he attacks 50-50 balls, the way that he handles himself in space, his acceleration, short area burst, and then when he's riding out, he's striding out. There was one play that I wish he would have scored on in the USC game, and I think that's been taken care of. And when I'm looking at his game, can he have crispier routes? Yes. Can he work on his release? Yes. There are things that he can do to get better, but everybody can. But when you talk about the innate ability for him to go get the ball out of the air and fight like he's 6'6", he's a mixture of everything in that receiver room. And this is what I love the most about Omarion Miller. He could have been, there are so many other schools that he could have went to last year where he wouldn't have been the 5th receiver. His mentality didn't change. When his number was called, he was ready. That's what I love about this receiver. Behind Travis Hunter, behind Will Shepard, behind LaJohntay Wester, behind Jimmy Horn, 5th at best last year. Spade is a spade. Had to wait his turn. But now it's his turn. This kid's about to turn up. I'm telling you. I'm calling it now. I literally went and watched every catch. Another thing that I like a ton about this kid, his hands. His hands are so strong. The one-hand catches, and then the contested catches, and that's why when I said, there was somebody in the comments that said, "Hey man, hold up on O," because you know he did have to fight back to the ball because I said he didn't squeeze it. He has the hands to squeeze that. This guy, I'm telling you, we talk about all the guys who have NFL potential. We talk about the Jordan Seatons. We talk about the DJ McKinneys. We need to be talking about the Omarion Millers more. Like I said, as I started the video, Omarion, if I hadn't been more excited about you, I was unfamiliar with your game, sir. Please go back, search Omarion Miller highlights on YouTube and go watch it. And a lot of you who are up right now watching this, y'all already know I'm late to the party. And I'm going to have so much fun deep diving into this team because from what I saw last week at practice, there are so many guys that I took notes on that I want to go find their background. I want to go find out where they come from. I want to go find out what they were doing in high school. Omarion Miller was killing in high school. He averaged like 28 yards a catch in high school. And they said, and one of the things that On3 said was that they wanted to see how he performed against a stronger competition. It ain't getting much stronger than what you're getting in Colorado, especially at that cornerback. There's a catch that he made maybe in 23 season going up against Travis Hunter. When you talk about somebody who's fearless, going up against the number one pick in this year, top two, probably the best athlete of this generation, right? Football wise, we haven't seen anything like Travis Hunter. Omarion Miller was going up against him as a freshman. Okay, can you imagine where his confidence is? Like, this guy knows that he can be the guy. He just has to put it on paper. As his practice habits improve, as his route running improves, as he works on his technique to get out of his start early and to make sure that he's more impactful when he releases, he has all the makings of an All-American receiver. The height, the catch radius, the speed, the explosion, the hands, and more importantly than anything, the mentality. He has the fortitude. Last year, he was just getting off, gets injured, works his tail off to get back. And I'm here to say, like, as far as predictions this year, I think Draylon Miller is going to be your best all-purpose guy running there and receiving. They're going to use him a ton of ways. But your best pure receiver for the Colorado Buffaloes, I'd be surprised if it's not Omarion Miller. And I may be preaching to the choir. Maybe I'm being Captain Obvious. Maybe I'm late to the party. But just because I'm late to the party does not mean that this guy doesn't deserve to be celebrated. Colorado Buffaloes fans, you got you one in number 4. Absolutely. Omarion Miller, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do this year. I just want to deep dive into your game. I wish I could add some graphics or add some YouTube clips in here, but we'll get to that point as we continue to grow and we grow together. But as far as this, I want to make sure I spend some time and give some shine to Omarion Miller, who I think can be the top receiver in the Big 12 this year. All right, guys, that's my time. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DukesTheScoop. Also, as always, look out for You Tell Me on the Pregame Network, the Morning Run on the Pregame Network. I'll be traveling tomorrow. I'll be in Miami, I believe. Fort Lauderdale. I'll be somewhere down there, spring break. So I will be delivering some more content this week. But if you see me, sometimes you never know how that hotel internet going to be. So we're going to try to figure that one out. But in the meantime, I appreciate y'all. Make sure you like and subscribe. Become a member if you haven't become one yet. And if you want this gear, let me know in the comments. And any position group or player that you would like me to do a deep dive on, drop it in the comments. And that's how we're going to get through the off season. We're going to deep dive into certain subjects, and it's going to be us, the fam, getting through it together. All right, that's my time. DukesTheScoop, I am out. Make sure you follow me.